and welcome back to our channel. Thankfully we've gotten a lot of new subscribers lately, and so I wanted to take a second, or we wanted to take a second and introduce ourselves again for anybody who's new. So I'm Jamie.
I'm Randy.
And we are currently in our shuttle bus that we are converting into a camper. So since we saw you guys last, we've actually done a lot more renovations to the bus, and we are really, well, I don't want to say that we're almost done, because I don't think we're ever going to be done, and I can't see behind me how much you guys can see. Can they see that?
No.
Okay. We're going to do a walk around in a minute and show you guys what we've changed, and while we're at it, we'll show you what we're still going to change. I think this is probably going to be at least a through the summer build as far as getting it, and we may never actually get it the way we want it. We're probably always going to be changing something. But the good thing is we are now fully, with the exception of one wire, I think we are fully ready to just be on the road in this thing as much as we want to. It's pretty much, don't you think, the stay in it build is pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that we could do that I still I'm planning on doing, I hadn't decided exactly where, is we plumbed it primarily for a shore power and shore water, hooking up to a state park or someplace for water supply. We also have the power though, where it can be independent.
Yeah, right now we're not on shore power. Right now we're on battery power.
But anyway, we have not put any real onboard water capacity. We have water on board, but as far as, like, for instance, the sinks and the toilet to work, that's not. It doesn't have the pump power yet. I had it in my other vehicles. I know how to do it. Do it pretty easily. We just haven't really decided on that yet. So that's something we'll probably do, probably sooner versus later.
Yeah, but let us get to the back of the camera now, and we'll show you guys what we've changed since last time. Okay, so here are some of the new additions we have. You saw these 3 dressers before, and they were just the plastic cheap dressers you can get from Walmart, and I think our Roses Express sells them. But anything that you put on top of it, even if it wasn't heavy, made it bow down. So Randy built these lovely wooden shelf top thing. What would you call it? Shelf top thing. That's the countertop. That's the official name. This countertop. So we can screw things down onto here if we ever come up with something permanent. I had originally thought that I would permanently put down the lamps, but once we got these lights up here, we don't need them anymore. So that's nice. And these guys, I'll link down below. Let me turn one off so you can see them. These are 12-volt lights, and they don't have to be recessed. They actually, that is the whole light right there. So we really like these a lot, and then we can put the power to them, and then you can turn them off individually, and they have this cute little blue light right here so you can find them in the dark. And we have 4 of these in the main room and 1 in the bathroom, and it works really nicely. And then over here, Randy built this. Oh, I'm out of breath.
Yeah, that was built to cover up the little fender well. There's about a 3-inch rise on that, and we had furniture sitting on top of the fender well before, and it wasn't a very good use of space. It was so many angular edges. So we just built that sort of to bring the floor up to one level so we could put furniture on it. And that furniture's there temporarily. We're not going to keep that dresser there or those I've got cubes. I've
got something else coming. I've got a bench seat that's also storage, so that'll be a nice window seat right there.
And that whole countertop and that floor, all that's 1 sheet of plywood. So that was not too bad.
I didn't think to bring the camera out when we were building, but if you want to see the framing of how this is, I'll insert that picture here. Okay, so the other thing that we've changed since last time is we have a fridge and freezer now, and a microwave. So that's really nice. Oh, and I didn't show you, we have electrical outlets now. There's one on the other side of the bus, and there's one right down there if you can see it. So that's really handy. And the bathroom, we've had some huge changes in the bathroom. For starters, we have this really nice cabinet that Randy just finished building today, and we got our mirror up and the little holder there. So that's really nice. And a lot of electrical has changed. So let me hand this over to Randy and we will show you that. Just to give you an idea of where we are. We're still in the bathroom, just on the other side of the bathroom.
You guys may remember this is the closet door. When it's, I guess, in the open position, it becomes a bathroom door inside. This is my closet area here, and I apologize, it's still really a mess. I haven't really decided exactly where everything's going to land. But this is an old bread rack that I repurposed, and you cut the plywood just to fit between the different levels of the rack, so it's highly adjustable, which turns out great. So I'll be able to set different levels. Like for right now, I have my batteries, just because of the weight, I have the battery banks across the bottom. Right now I just have 3 12 volts in there. I'll set those up a little later, but I'm just using them individually for now. So that's probably where I'll leave the battery bank, just for the weight purposes. It just makes more sense. Then I'm gonna have different camping gear here. But what I decided up at the top is make the top sort of my little power station for the bus. I actually repurposed. We have an old, someone years ago gave us an old 1978, I think, little pull behind. And I went into that and kind of pulled out some of the components just to, again, being frugal. This box here, if I can get my hand to open it up. This box here is the 12 volt fuses. So everything that's 12 volts goes through that box. And the enclosure is not necessary. It's just something to kind of keep it all housed. This actually is probably the most significant, and I have to relabel it. But this is a square D panel box that came out of the other vehicle, the other RV. And I have basically you take one of the fuse spots, it becomes the main. That's a 30 amp coming in. And then I have 3 other circuits, and I'm not sharing it, I'm doing it all dedicated. So I have one for general power throughout the vehicle, just plug in little appliances. Have one dedicated for the refrigerator, microwave, that sort of thing. We don't have anything that's any major draw. Probably the biggest thing will be the refrigerator and the microwave. And then right beside the box, I just installed a regular 110 outlet, just to have one back here in the closet for multiple reasons. And then of course I have a 12 volt coming out with the regular cigarette lighter, just to have another little auxiliary port here to power 12 volt appliances. And my ultimate plan is I have a 1500 watt power inverter also mounted here that I can easily connect to the battery bank to give us the 110 power when we're moving. Pretty much just to run the refrigerator. I don't plan to do much more than that, just the refrigerator, maybe some of the other. I can also convert that over to 12 volts to do the house lighting and things without having to use battery while we're driving. But of course, battery is always an option. And then ultimately, well, the way I'm going to carry that out, I'll make a pigtail that will go from this 110 here to this here, and then turn off the main. So by cutting that off, that will kill any chance of power going backwards. Plus, this will only be done while we're mobile, so there's no chance of me being connected to shore power and to this power simultaneously. But when I turn that on, that will feed 110 back, and then I can turn off all unused circuits, so that would simply just feed back through this. I think it's a 10-2 wiring I did. It was a little bit heavy for inside, but it's working. Send that back, and that'll feed back through to my refrigerator, which is in the living compartment. So that's kind of the plan. That way we can keep everything cold while we're traveling. Then I also have of course an onboard 12 volt battery charger that when we're on shore power, I can plug it in here and then be able to connect it to my battery banks to charge those down below. So that's kind of the brief description of the power source as it stands right now.
And if that made sense to you, you're better than me. If it didn't make sense to you and you have questions, write them in the comments below and I will get Randy to get back to you, because I don't understand any of the stuff he just said.
Well, okay. That's fine.
I assume you guys are smarter than me. So we really appreciate you guys giving us all of the great comments and questions, and we do read every single comment and every single question that comes through, and we try to respond to everybody within the same day that you comment. But there are a few questions that we've gotten that either have been a little bit difficult to explain on, just the typing, or things that we answered, but we thought we really probably should have put that in a video because more people might be interested. So one of the questions that we got was about how we, once we bought the shuttle bus, we live in South Carolina, for those of you who don't know, and we were asked how we, once we got the shuttle bus and turned it into a camper, how we got it tagged and insurance and that sort of thing. So, do you want to?
Sure. Yeah, it wasn't that big of a process. First call I made when I purchased it was to my insurance company, Allstate, and asked them about insuring it. It actually is not bad. I should have actually brought the actual cost for you out here, but it was just a few $100s a year for liability and comprehensive coverage. Basically, if I get in a wreck, it's the legal amount that protects the other guy. It covers any damages it may cause with this big 15,000-pound vehicle. I could buy regular collision coverage that would cover the bus itself. But one of the problems with that is for them to put a valuation on it, they couldn't just look it up like they would a normal vehicle. So it would basically go on the lines of me trying to establish a value or replacement value, and then they would give me a premium for that value. We've done this on a pretty good budget. We were keeping things we've been pretty frugal with this purchase and all the repairs, so I'm not too concerned about replacing the bus itself, because again, I mean, we're not spending a ton of money on this thing. But like I said, there is an option of going that route. I just would have to get with Allstate and set a determined value on the vehicle, and then they would give me a premium that would cover that value. That was the first step. As far as the DMV goes, I could see where that could be a big problem in some states. When they look up the VIN and get the build sheet for the vehicle, it comes up as a bus. This one I think was a 21 passenger bus, and a 21 passenger bus would require a CDL driver's license to operate on the highways of South Carolina. We had a lot of discussion at the DMV about the fact this thing at that time had just one seat, just a driver's seat in it, and we had forever removed the rest of the seats, gotten rid of all the channels, the mounting brackets. There's no way to put them back in without actually doing some major construction. But anyway, after a lot of conversation, we were actually able to persuade them that this was in fact an RV. There is a paperwork trail you can go through where you actually I guess make an amendment to the VIN, if that's such a thing, and change the designation. For us though, the difference being a bus would get a tag in South Carolina that says bus on the tag, which would require a CDL. This one actually we just went the route like I would my other heavy vehicles. It's just a weighted tag, so I actually paid for the additional weight of the vehicle.
Kind of like having a really big truck.
Yeah, it's the same. I have a 3/4 ton truck that's similar type, actually same kind of tag. I just added more weight to this one. So that's how we're driving now.
Now, one thing I have read, and we did not do, and in hindsight I think we should have, is I did read other people in South Carolina and in other states, when they went to DMV, they took pictures with them, like printed out, I guess, of the different stages of the build out to kind of prove, because she had a lot of questions. Well, you could put the seats back in. Well, but I think had she seen that where the seats were, we now have a completely built kitchen,
right,
and all of this cabinetry. And I think had we done that, it probably would have been less of a back and forth. So if you're doing this for the first time and you go to DMV, take some pictures, because I think that might make a much shorter conversation than we had.
And had she insisted on us getting a bus tag, that would have been the next route. There was some paperwork. She wasn't familiar with it, but I found it online. There's actually some paperwork where you would petition the state to change the designation. That's where they're going to want to see. They said they have the right to inspect the vehicle personally, which of course is fine, and pictures, all those types of things would help to make the case. But in our situation, she went along with us, and
it was just one trip in and out, and it was done.
Pretty easy. It was almost frustrating, but then it worked out. So anyway, that's helped us out. Hope that helps you guys out some if you're in South Carolina. But biggest thing is make sure you check, because that would have been a pretty bad day if we'd have found out it required a CDL or some crazy insurance to be able to operate this thing, because that would kind of negate the whole idea of doing something that was pretty inexpensive.
I wanted to show you something else. We had another question that one of our viewers asked us, and I tried to answer it best I could, and then I've been thinking about it. We were asked if a bunk bed could fit in here, and if you notice, my husband, how tall are you?
5'9.5", 5'10".
Yeah, so there's what, like another foot?
Yeah.
Or half?
Yeah.
And I was Googling the average height of a futon bunk bed, and I don't think that there would be enough space. But she asked, she was asking how her granddaughter could come stay. But what I did think is this is how much space we have in this configuration.
6'6".
6'6". This is how much space we have on the floor with if you were to configure your bus the same way we do, which you probably won't. But if I were going to try to fit a third person in here with us, what I would do is just put a like a mattress pad or like a little what's
like
the
a
word?
trundle bed type thing, like a hideaway.
Yeah, and it would totally fit right there because you have the blankets are in the way.
Blanket mattress hanging over far past the bed.
But that would be plenty of room for a single person, especially a child, to fit. So if you're still looking for an option, that would be a definite easy option because you still have plenty of room in here with the bed laid down. And as far as other things that we want to do, if you notice behind Randy, the whole front of the cab is still the original. You're like Vanna White. Now we're dating ourselves. The young people are like, who? So anyway, the whole front is still the original. It's still all of the gray. The top is still the gray carpet.
It's gray vinyl. Gray vinyl everywhere here.
Yeah, and so this summer when the kids are home, we're not going to be doing a whole lot of traveling. So I'm hoping this summer I want to rip all of that out. I want to finish the white ceiling all the way down. And I want to replace all of that gray with wood. And maybe add some, you think some doors? Some.
Yeah, I'll probably put I have a it's like a storage hatch made for either an RV or a boat, and I'll probably put a storage hatch there. Because there's a good bit of space. If you notice how the front of these shuttles have that dome on the front, it's a good bit of space. I need to support it a little bit better, but I think I can put a lot of storage in there. And of course, I want to explore this a little bit more. This is,
yeah, this is terrifying. Our son is going to school for computers, and we brought him in and showed him this, and even he was like, oh, really?
Luckily, things are labeled, but even reading them, I don't know who they are, so.
That's a whole nother nightmare. But I am enjoying my seat now. We've been on 2 trips. We've been on 2 trips now with my chair in there. It's awfully dark in the front. You probably can't see it.
There.
And that's working out really, really well. So we like that. But I think that's it as far as updates. Can you think of anything that I haven't thought of? Oh, we're gonna put a cabinet right there above the sink because I want a little bit more space that's up, so I'm not having to bend over for other things that we get every day. So that's a thing. But I think that's about it. So, for those of you who stayed till the end, thank you. We hope you enjoyed our updates of what we've been doing with the bus and the couple of questions that we answered. And it's kind of fun doing these Q&As. So, if you have any questions about the bus or about us or about our travels or whatever, leave them in the comments below and we'll do another one of these where we answer even more of you guys' questions. What are you doing?
Closing drawers.
Also, next week we're going through Atlanta, Georgia to a little campground just north of there. We're going to be staying right on the water. It's called McKinney Campground, I think. So be watching for our video next week where we show a little bit about that and our travels, and who knows what we're going to get into.
By then, we may do a little bit more of a walk around too. This was kind of a little brief walk through the inside. Everything's kind of cluttered. So everything will be in its proper place, and we may do a walk around the outside as well.
Yeah, and as always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're our resident thumbs downer that we get every week, hi, glad to see you. Come again next week.
We'll win you over eventually.
But do subscribe if you haven't, and we will see you again next week.
Take care.
Bye.